Mario Party has always been a multiplayer game, something you whip out at family game night, or an evening hanging with the boys, or a summer day with your cousins at grandma's house. Get everyone gathered together and let the shenanigans ensue. But what if you're all alone? What value does a party game have for one person? Well, it probably won't shock you to hear I've spent more time playing Mario Party alone than with others. As ideal as it is to have a full party of 4 or even 2, that's not always possible. People have lives. I don't. Mario Party is a commitment, and if you want to play a board, be prepared to spend the next hour doing that. And more often than not, someone's going to be checked out halfway in. Like, if I gotta hold my sister at gunpoint to play 6 more turns, you bet your ass I'm doing it. I've played Mario Party alone so much, you should be concerned. These were the games I had growing up where I didn't have to worry about enemies or health bars. When Yoshi jumps in lava, I know he'll come back. Something Yoshi's story could not promise. As a result, these are my go-to games to play when I want something cozy and familiar. But there's a problem. Mario Party requires a TV. I can't play it outside, I can't play it in the car. When I leave the house, you mean I have to talk to people now? Thank God. So Mario Party over the years has included modes for the guy whose +1 is his hand, and they've varied in quality. 1 and 2's Minigame Island and Coaster are so good I want them in every game, but 3 through 6's story modes are just game boards with the added element of pissing you off when you lose. They're modes you play out of obligation because a board or minigame's locked behind them, and not because they're fun. So when you have a game like this, where it only has a story mode, maybe socializing at the function isn't a bad idea. The game starts by making us create a passport to travel to Party World, asking questions like what's my biggest dream and my silliest secret, the name of my homeroom teacher in 5th grade, my mother's maiden name, and the street I lived on as a child. The last owner of my copy was really obsessed with soccer and has feet the same size as their mother. What a silly goose. And kicking off the story, Bowser assaults Toad. Egad's here. Remember when Egad had as many cameos in Mario Party as Donkey Kong had playable appearances? That was a weird time. In this game, he's the inventor of gadgets, the MacGuffins Bowser is after. Is he stupid? Gadgets are like the toys you get from the little fucking freak meals at McDonald's. Slide puzzles, snow globes, an egg you can roll. Stuff you look at for 2 seconds and never think about again because they're that worthless. If you're gonna make a gadget, do something useful, like a 3-in-1 breakfast station or armadillo scram. Something I wouldn't want to burn in my backyard after filming a dozen 10 cool gadgets I found on Amazon I actually use videos. Like, who out there is playing rock, paper, scissors with their Game Boy? What person is counting sheep in Mario Party Advance to fall asleep? Look at this. It's a fucking stick. Bowser wants this? So first and foremost, Mario Party Advance is an abomination. What happens when a party game is turned into a portable single-player adventure game? It ain't Mario Party no more. Coins are gone, stars are gone, the board is 3 times larger, and we got a whip to do sick burnouts with. Our goal is to collect gadgets from everyone in town, and the hurdles you gotta jump for some of these things is unreal. 1 minute you're buying Goomba a train ticket, the next you're saving a penguin's marriage. The game is surprisingly witty with some of these scenarios, like Sniffit here wants me to haunt his apartment, so I invite some booze over, and he's like, I'm so excited I won't be able to sleep. That's not why he won't be able to sleep. Dory wants a dinosaur friend, so I sent Yoshi to the lake, and then the character reel in the credits reveals Yoshi ghosted her ass. Sometimes you'll play a minigame as the challenge, like Fly Guy Says to lure a UFO, and sandbag in a race against a Cheep to boost its self-esteem. A couple missions require you to study the environment for fetch quests, like picking flowers for Babamba, and uncovering Mushroom Kondo's underground lair. But my favorite's anything where Shroomlock appears. A detective from Toadland Yard, anything to scratch that Ace Attorney itch is always welcome. Like when he gets a call that Thwomp's home was robbed when he was out at the pub. We get to investigate his house for evidence left behind by the perpetrator, and the conclusion is Thwomp couldn't have been robbed because he can't leave his house. Or another mystery is who pulled Shroomlock into the ocean. Our suspects are a blooper, a Cheep, and the worst comedian ever. But only one of them has arms, making Blooper a prime handcuff recipient. Shroom City's got a huge love triangle. Pedal Guy confides his emotions to a Flutter he fell in love with at first sight. A sentiment Flutter has for Mr. I, who has a crush on Peach. who makes cakes for Mario, a man who is willing to buy Bowser a diamond ring. What's going on with the Bowser quest? Every time we visit the guy, he's got some new scheme like stealing art, owning a toy store, building a duck. His henchman calls him a good kitty. You'd think Bowser being the driving force of the story, he'd be a little more intimidating. But every encounter, he'll just be chilling out in the mountains, you tell him why the chicken crossed the road, then he hands over a portable fan. Wow, thanks. But let's actually talk about what we're doing in Shroom City. Collecting gadgets is only half the game. This is a Mario Party, so that means we still need to roll dice and play minigames. And ironically, this is the worst part of the game. Actually, it ruins the game. In a normal Mario Party, minigames break up the monotony of a board. They're the highlights of the experience, adding a variety of exciting scenarios to compete against your friends in. But in a game like Mario Party Advance, where there is no competition, minigames are annoying. They happen too frequently and disrupt your flow. Every 3 turns, a minigame starts, and you gotta win them, because in this game, after 5 turns, you lose, and the only way to stay alive is to win minigames. These give you 3 more rolls, and because 5 is divisible by 3 only once, if you don't win the minigame, that's a game over, buddy. It's a really frustrating gameplay loop, and the only saving grace is that some of the spaces you can land on will mitigate the struggle. Like Hallelujah for the dice space, which gives you a free roll, and the minigame space, which gives you a free roll. Or it can pop your tire. Frequently, I'm driving in circles for rerolls just so I can budget my turns as efficiently as possible. And because so many missions needed to travel 45 miles on the interstate, losing's never felt worse. And in addition to all that, Bowser can block the road or warp you whenever he wants. This is that kind of game. It sucks to see such a charming mode get railed by its core fundamentals, and I'm not normally someone who likes side quests in video games, so for me to bat for this as hard as I am is a bit of a statement. Like if they removed game overs and repurposed minigames into quests like they did with the Bowser and Duel games, I would probably want to revisit Mario Party Advance. But instead, I never want to play this again. So what are those minigames? Are they really that bad? And the answer is no. They're decent for a single-player Mario Party. The game just doesn't do a great job incorporating them. Advance's minigames are tough to talk about because a lot of them are endless high-score games, but the story mode has alternate versions where they're severely toned down. On the Spot is a cakewalk with only 5 rounds, but on Endless, memorizing 7 inputs to get a new record is kinda hard. The gameplay is still the same, but the perspective is different. So here's some highlights. Go Go Pogo, I could play forever. Games where you're always jumping usually go wrong, but this one I want a speedrun. Broom Zoom, I wish was endless. Whizzing through rings until your eyes unfocus. This is a blast when you don't make any errors. Bill Bounce is the infinite one-up trick from Super Mario Bros, and getting high chains is as exciting as the real deal. Shelf Stack's a similar, stationary, all-or-nothing version. Flingshot is a watered-down Kids Next Door flood of the hamsters, but we'll still take it. And Melon Folly's a ramped-up version of Pokemon Sapphire's Pseudopolis Gym. On the other side of the coin, of course there's duds. Out of My Way is really easy in the story mode, but the alternate, longer version could be the worst minigame in the series, because I can't beat it. The bottom of the map is a dead end where you have to backtrack the entire course to go up a layer, and then the correct path has an impossible gap to jump. Like, did they playtest this? I feel like the brakes in Sled Slide don't work. No matter what I do, I always spin out when I turn. Missing and Grab It makes you slip for half a mile, and that's it. There's 3 bad minigames, and the rest go into the who cares category. But we're not done yet. I said Shroom City has duels, and that's got some duds. Volleybomb is so poorly designed that the game will pick a random winner because losing normally is impossible. Stare Scare's a button masher, that doesn't feel good on a Game Boy, and Chainsaw's the same but with a stamina bar. Chicken and Slammer are another pair of similar concepts, and Koopa Curl is maybe the best, but only because I like to slam my last shell into the arena. There's gambling games like roulette, slots, pachinko, and scratch tickets. If coins are worth something besides different title screens, these might be more fun. And the Bowser minigames task you with the ethical stunning and slaughtering of way too many Koopa kids. So that's 50 minigames in Mario Party Advance, and I've been reminded why I never boot this game up to play them. Is there a word between whelming and underwhelming? That's what I want to call this collection. I think that's the problem with the endless high score format. I don't want to play these games for 3 minutes straight. so I just don't play them at all. And I know I sound like a big hypocrite because I've talked about the times I'd boot up other Mario parties to play Platform Peril and Picture Imperfect for an hour straight, but Advanced doesn't make me want to do that. And it's not just the mini games. The extra modes aren't that good either. Like, have you ever been at a gathering with 99 people and wanted all 99 of those people to hate you? They made a mode where 100 players take turns playing a mini game to see who can get the highest score. Pass the game to player 85. The fuck you mean pass the game to player 85? The Game Boy got stolen 60 rounds ago. If you've ever wanted to play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, they turned that into a mode, which I'd probably like if the minigames were better. Bowser's Got a Roller Coaster. Anyone up for some duels? The longer I play this game, the less I like it. But there is multiplayer content if you have 2 to 4 copies of the game available. I went ahead and bought a second one just to see what's hidden here, like this penguin race mode that's always piqued my interest. This is the only 4-player mode. Their secret battle, it just shares the loser's secret to the winner. Besides those, 2 people can play the Duel and Bowser minigames with extra steps, but Mario Party Advance somehow has one of the Game Boy Advance's worst implementations of local multiplayer. Except, there's one more mode, one more chance to redeem itself, the bonus board. This is the real reason I bought a second copy. Mario Party's no stranger to the physical board game. Mario Party E included one, and it was a great time. So my expectations are pretty high. The difference is, instead of using cards in the e-reader to play mini games, we get to use gadgets. And these are more advanced than your dessert menus and eye exams. 4 people can play them. All they have to do is play Twister? If Homeboy gives you the L button, kick him out of your life. How the hell did Nintendo think this would play out? Hey, what if I put my hand on yours so we could play Attack Frog? Just kidding. Unless I lucked out my player 3 for these videos was in a pissy mood the day I wanted to try this out, so we didn't get to experience the awkward conversation of where should I put my hand? Pause, but I played around with one person and it was awful. So the goal is to be the first player to get a star. The board is a loop with another loop inside, and the star will only appear in that inner loop. To get there, you need to land on a pipe, which on its own is a difficult task. But then you're contending with minigame interruptions. On a lot of these gadgets, the winner gets a free roll. But on a few, the loser goes back to start. And in the game I was playing, those were the only gadgets showing up. And then if by some miracle you can get to the star, you have to open up the Game Boy and pick a random box that has an 83% chance of not giving you a star. And before you can get another chance, you're sent back to start. This game probably works better with 4 people because maybe you'll get sent to start less frequently. But if I have people willing to play Mario Party, I am not fumbling that opportunity on Mario Party Advance. So what we're left with is a handheld party game for one person that uses mechanics from its multiplayer counterparts, but in a mode that isn't complemented by them. Its minigames, while replayable, last too long to want to replay, and its attempts to include multiplayer features all fall short because there's either too little to do, or they require everyone involved to put their hand on a taco shell. I came into this review wanting to give Mario Party Advance the benefit of the doubt. It's the game I had the most neutral feelings for, but also the one I've had the longest break from playing. It had a clean slate, and I just can't see myself wanting to return after this. It's not bad, but it doesn't do anything right. It's not Mario Party. It's the worst reviewed Mario game, and I think I'm okay agreeing with that. I don't know if the Game Boy Advance could have a good Mario Party. There's no denying the console is capable of an equal multiplayer experience, but when you consider most people playing it will still be alone, the tiny screen size being so limiting, and the Nintendo DS already being released, dividing the player base, we gotta ask ourselves if a multiplayer-focused Mario Party on the Game Boy Advance is even worth producing. And if I had to guess, the developers figured out the answer is no. They attempted to make a game with so much working against them, and even if they knew the result wouldn't be anything like its precursors, they did what they could and made a game more suited to the hardware. It may have failed spectacularly, but with the experience under their belt and the Nintendo DS present, a good handheld Mario Party may be closer than expected. Also, the game uses Mario Party 3 and 4 music. I just wanted to share that. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to leave a like to help the channel grow, and subscribe to get updates on my uploads as soon as they happen. But until then, I will see you all next time.